Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running. Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting week of Risen Esports. Normally, we would go over the matchups in a normal, traditional way, but tonight, we have a very special way of telling you about the matchup between XT Nation, world-class Empyreans. Producer Joe, give me a beat. Okay. I like it.
Okay.
Mr. Og Battery, give me some keys, brother. Go. Okay. All right. Mr. Rock, why don't you tell us about tonight's matchups real quick?
Well, tonight's match between XT Nation and, it's going to be some inting. It's going to be some sick plays, but most likely, it's going to be some nice jungle gap. Can I get an amen?
Amen!
Woo! All right. Listen to that. All right.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. As we said before, Risen Esports here on Twitch.tv/Risen Esports. My name is Mark Ralph Alexander Honor Beating. Joining me on the desk is going to be Dimitri Og Battery Toledo. And of course, we had a little bit of trouble with the little technical side, but it's okay. We hope you get the message now as we switch back into a little bit more traditional overgear. Screw that. there's no tradition here because we've got. Pull up the drinking graphic one more time, Joe, because we got to go over what are tonight's special rules. For those that didn't get a chance to participate in our original drinking game in the previous 2 weeks ago, Mr. Allbattery, since you put together the rules here, why don't you go over them one more time?
Yeah, we just got a simple few rules here between the two. You have a drink next to you. It can be water. Please drink responsibly. And, if you're of age, then go ahead, take part in some alcoholic beverages. But, some of the typical things that we see from these teams, I thought, hey, let's kind of gamify some of the smaller parts of their gameplay. So, the general things, if we see Philios or Ezreal, it's a chug. This just goes for both teams. Baron and Dragon Steals, that's a chug right there. Best Dance gets built. Best item in the game by far. Maybe behind like Blade of the Ruined King. You get a chug. Here for World Class Elite, we've also got City Witty. If the gank goes wrong, we've got a sip. Because City Witty, the amount of times I've seen this man go for a gank, and it's a 0-2 start. Boom. That's a sip right there. Eclipse on Galileo Duty. I think there's nothing more that's got to be said about that. And we got a few others here. Hunter with the Strange Jungler. I just had to pull that one up because honestly, after watching that Polar Ace series in the Rammus Game 5, I was like, there's no way we don't see this again coming out from XT. And we also got that Chubb if we say Gerb. That one doesn't count. That's the example, but it's possible that it's gonna happen. But for XT Nation, I'm excited to see what happens in tonight's match.
Well, tonight's matchup is getting started a little sooner than we anticipated. The teams are just ready to duke it out on the Rift here. And alright, we're flying through the pick and ban phase. Graves, Kindred, and Ezreal. Notice how we have a lot of marksman bans all across the board. Finally, a non-marksman ban. Allbattery, I feel like you're getting a little targeted right now. And the one that makes it through the draft, Aphelios, up on the table for XT Nation.
Yeah, Aphelios, obviously, super strong still. And especially for the AD carry here for XT Nation, it's an absolute necessity. This guy is always insane on this champion. I expect actually nothing less from this team. And we take a look at some of the things that we banned, right? We got rid of all of those marksmen. Aphelios making it through is probably the most surprising. I'm excited to see what world-class Empyreans are going to be pulling out here. They take the Olaf. I was actually doing some math. Yumi's not actually all that bad. You have to get to late game. It does hurt her early game. I'm interested to see if we still see teams kind of opt into it, but now we see Karma here for XT. I'm interested to see whether or not Lulu's going to be the next one picked up.
Jarvan.
Okay.
Picked up from the table. I mean, the nice thing about Jarvan into the Olaf, you cannot win the 1v1s, but at level 6, you know what you can do? You put him in the cage, and you get the hell out. You can always just jump in there with a Cataclysm, lock him down, and unfortunately, although Olaf has all that combat power, he can't really break terrain. You would have to steal some power from Ornn to be able to get out of that Cataclysm. So, the good defensive pick can always force the engages, and world-class Empyreans realize they need a little bit of follow-up engage of their own, so they're going to lock in that Nautilus.
Yeah, I'm actually really afraid for this Jarvan pick here, because, like you were saying, has way to get in. I don't expect them to actually use the ultimate and then, try to flag and dash out. The Cassiopeia Nautilus makes this actually super dangerous for this Jarvan, so I love this coming out from World Class Elite. I love the pivot from them to make sure, hey, we want to make sure that we can protect this. I wonder what they're going to go for a bot lane AD carry that's going to try to provide some priority for this Olaf in the early game, because that is where we're going to be looking for them to try to at least make their mark. I'm actually interested to see if there's going to be a Cassiopeia bot lane, as we see so many marksmen's gone and someone that is able to at least fight Aphelios on even ground.
And then now with sports flying bans coming in for World Class Empyreans, there's always that chance that, as you said, the Karma could be rotated over to the support role. Although these bans are suggesting that they assume that Karma is going to be in mid lane, but we've seen Karma at top as well. Across over scouting ground starting game. All right. Sounds like you don't really like the idea of a Karma top here. I know Tenacity made it look pretty bad, but, come on, man. He's not used to playing Karma top.
Yeah. It was mostly like a player thing. I like to see Tenacity. It would be, it's nice to see him a little bit more right now. But he's not here, although we did get a little special guest appearance by Kenvi earlier in the lobby. But Wukong available. This guy has been making the splash. And interestingly enough, Volibear is still up. I mean, both of these champions You know, these are the new Season 10 quote-unquote rework champions. I'm surprised we're not seeing them already being indexed into.
Well, XT Nation, I almost had to take a chug right there, Dimitri. Don't call me slipping, but yeah, they're still looking for potential top laner, potential mid laner, and support. You know, these flex picks, just from that Karma alone, gives a lot of versatility. But Galio being locked in, I would pretty much assume that this is going to be a Galio mid lane. We have seen Galio in the support role a few times, but it's not as effective. You know what? Triple flex, it is a Galio support, Comer in the top lane, and a Azir mid lane, because I'm pretty damn sure we're not seeing the bird anywhere else.
And we're just going to take the Kassadin, so we're going to look for that mid-lane spike, you know, go for the solo lanes. I think Wukong and Kassadin provide a lot of great experience for making sure that they can, you know, get rid of anybody in the side lane, and they want to challenge that, especially when you have Galio here and Karma sitting off. I'm worried here for XT Nation. You know, they do have a little bit of a weaker composition, and especially with Karma top lane, she will get a large amount of gold, and especially with how cheap most of her items are with Athenes and Arden. Things like Azir and Aphelios will be really good. I'm hesitant, I will say, to see how this will be executed, because we take a look at the standings. XT Nation, they were looking incredibly hot going into the first couple weeks, and they've been falling apart. We've had this double round robin, and coming across, not been looking too hot. On the opposite side, though, you know, World Class Elite also haven't been having an amazing time, and right now, with where the bracket stands for this group, it takes one loss here. You know, if Empyreans are able to grab this win, and we're also going to need, you know, wildcard to lose against PA, which isn't out of the order, you know, wouldn't be too out of the norm, then this group gets really tied for that second and you know, that second place.
And I do want to mention something on Battery. I know this is a quick topic change, but I'm just going over back the wonderful drinking graphic that you have made for us. I want to reiterate that as we do this is, you know, for fun. Please drink responsibly, and of course, only if you are of legal age in the country or a place of residence that you are from. We don't want to encourage anything too harmful to our lovely viewers here, but because Aphelios was locked in, that's already a chug. So if you haven't taken your you know, chug boys, then, well.
Hey, what about the ladies in chat? Come on, we just did a jazz fight. We gotta be. Come on, there's.
Wait, okay. I meant a more gender-neutral term. Yeah, that's on me. My apologies.
I think you should take a sip for that, but that's a personal. That's not a drinking game. That's not a drinking game. I'm okay with you not taking one if you don't want to, but
no, I can. I will take the L on that one. You know, my sincere apologies. Just going through. Thankfully, Eclipse escaped Galio duty because it's going to be Mr. CP Freeze on
the wrong team. On the wrong team. He dodged really well.
Thank goodness, right? Now, just going over one more time this draft, we need to take a look at how these two compositions are going to play out. When I'm looking at XT Nation here, you have, I mean, Mr. Alec Battery, you know all about the Aphelios. I mean, you still play this champion like there's no other good champion in the game, which, you know, has some merit to it. Yeah, but you know, I don't see you on any other picks. So tell me, why, with this supporting cast behind XT Nation, you know, do you think Aphelios has enough firepower, even after the nerfs, to be able to take on this world-class Empyrean composition?
Yeah, it is going to be, you know, the joke here is that it's Aphelios versus the world, right? You have people like Nautilus, Wukong, Kassadin, the entire Empyreans team here is looking to just immediately jump onto this Aphelios and this Azir. I am looking forward to seeing how the bot lane here for XT Nation decides they want to kind of go for fights, as the Jarvan is their key engage tool. Galio can be a little bit more reactive, and I think that'd be an interesting pivot away, but Aphelios will be hurting to try to put down damage, especially because depending on how this goes and how we see that top lane kind of play out here for World Class, I'm interested to see what the Wukong invisibility actually does to stop Aphelios from planting his feet and being able to put down the massive damage we know from this champion.
You know, World Class Empyreans definitely have the advantage when it comes to the late game, because it is really hard to deal with a Kassadin once it gets to level 16, although I guess you wouldn't say that's late game, that's late late game, right?
Yeah.
Since the Aphelios should be able to spike well beforehand, as long as XT Nation does prioritize and play around this strong marksman in the bottom lane. And we know that Karma can lose the lane gracefully if she needs to, because we're going to just be seeing Athene's Rush, potentially a Redemption Rush, or the Ardent Sensor Rush, just a bunch of support items. It is that low econ duty. It is all about powering up Kaming here in the bottom lane. Now, my only question to you, Hulk Battery, is when world-class Empyreans start playing through City Witty, because Olaf does have the winning matchup into the Jarvan in a vacuum, you know, what does the pathing look like from City Witty? Does he just say, you know what, their composition only hinges on this Aphelios, let's just run it down? Or does he want to hurt another lane of XT Nation and starve resources from the Aphelios indirectly?
Yeah, I think the two largest targets here is we're looking at CP Freeze and Kaming Yige, right? Those are the two that you want to try to target if you're going to be this Olaf. I think going for the Karma lane is a little bit weak, although, expediting your Wukong's build, never too bad of an option for yourself. The path should be relatively normal. We do have a red side start here for the side of this Olaf and for world class, so wouldn't be surprised if we just see top side start going for a full clear. You are playing the Olaf, as you know, Rafa, you just full clear, you're super healthy, utilizing your passive, your W lifesteal that gives you additional attack speed when you have lower health. I think that is quite possibly what we'll see is just, full clear on one side of the map going from top side to bot, and maybe we've actually even see Mink start over in that top side to try and contest bot lane, because typically with this Cassiopeia, especially against Galio, it was a little bit hard for her to step up in the lane. Not only should be able to provide some protection, but I think early scuttle priority for this team will at least dictate the first 5 to 10 minutes, and I'm interested to see where City ends up, because remember, he is one of our SIP, he's one of the requirements here for the drinking game, and City Witty in the early game is where world class have been defined. Whether that means, going, the game gets a little bit prolonged in the early game thanks to a slip up, we don't know, or, City Witty absolutely just is a monster and just opens up the game for this team. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, City Witty definitely one of the more volatile junglers in the amateur scene here. He can have his moments of explosivity, and he can also have his moments of pure how should I put it, off battery? Just you know what? We'll just let the pause speak for itself. So hopefully City Witty doesn't have those blunders in the early game, because we know how powerful he can be when he starts off on the right foot. I'm even surprised that, since considering this is a best of 3, he didn't open up with a Rengar pick, because I know he is very well practiced on that champion, and in prior seasons he has done really well with that. In fact, if he does pick Rengar in the next game, that's already a chug. I'm just going to...
It's an instant chug. Yeah. That one.
I'm going to manually inflict that into the rule sheet there. But as we're getting ready to load up on the Rift, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get ready as spectator client takes a moment to catch up, but we'll be right back with more action. Yo, you like that, Al? That sounds pretty good, dude.
I was gonna say the smooth jazz of Risen Esports or on a radio. Risen. I mean, just have a line of scrimmage. I don't think there's anything more we can add. We can keep going.
That's what I like to call the defensive fan.
I like that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back into the game. You know, as you can see, no real action occurred onto the Rift, so no worries. Both of the teams are just going to take their line of scrimmages and be content with it and be able to continue their business on the Rift.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, we were talking about where those jungle starts were. I think it's really cool that we see, City Witty not going for that early ward placement, which we tend to see from a lot of junglers nowadays, and just opting to actually start his Raptors here. So you're the Olaf main here. You know, you're the person that's always like, Dimitri, pick me Olaf. You got to do it. Kind of walk me through what you think about this clear here from City Witty.
Check this out. Olaf, the lower he gets on his health, more attack speed than he gets. So I'm really surprised the City Witty actually went for the talisman, but because he is starting on the top side of the map, he knows he needs the mono regen to be able to sustain and continue using his abilities, mainly that undertow and the vicious swings on cooldown, or I should say vicious strikes, just so that he can continue getting that lifesteal and extra burst of attack speed to clear through the jungle. But just being able to have this amount of attack speed. Wait a minute. I got paused here as first place Snow. I held my tongue there. You know, I don't want to chug this early on into the game, but unfortunate technical difficulties coming in for this is Ugandan royalty, correct?
Yes, this is Ugandan royalty. Now on the XT Nation. You know, this squad has been actually doing really fantastic as we get back into the game. And I think, like you were saying, I think it's really interesting. I think it's the correct play, at least for Playground Bot. Oh, God. We've got the double bot here. Right as he goes in. That is some pixel perfect pause timing, by the way. I just want to in the middle of the just punch match.
You know what's funny is in all chat, he says, it's fine. I'll back off. As soon as he gets out of pause, mid-Justice Punch animation. So now we're in a very interesting spot where heads are about to collide here at the level 2 mark, and I feel like
I'm not killing. Sorry for the bull. Jesus. I think this is just going to be my AD carry got hit, and, you know, that they are not going to go for the kill, I think, out of respect, like we said, but they do have the level advantage, and trading health is really important for Cassiopeia. She does have TP, so not going to be going for something like Cleanse, like Barrier, so nothing too defensive for her, looking to try and have that map pressure as we have the triple TP coming out from the side of World Class. I am a little bit worried how this kind of maybe affects, even if it's just a little bit of a handshake. But yeah, it is still something to mention, even if it's, hey, we'll respect the fact that you have 1k ping on your ADC.
Well, should we add a sip for every time someone defeats?
You know, let's see. We'll give these two as like the the complimentary ones, the ones you get for free. We'll just say, hey, you know, those are given on the house. It does appear that from the side of XT Nation that it is going to be just a support DC kind of issue. So we're patiently waiting, folks.
So. You know, Dimitri, why don't we? As you're contemplating about bringing back the Alpha Jazz combo back on stream, it seems that first place Snow G decided, you know what? Let's actually go back into the game here, and we're just going to refresh everyone's memories. You know, what are some of the guidelines and the rules for sips and chugs this game? It looks like the game has been officially unpaused. Hold your breath.
Okay. All right.
And we did it.
Awesome. We've made it, boys. Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be If Death Dance gets built this game, Dragon or Baron steals, if we actually end up seeing Lost in a Moment carry a team fight, which I know it's a little bit nebulous as to what exactly that means, but this guy, especially when given things like Cassiopeia, I think have a large propensity to be able to do so. We've seen him on things like Callista just absolutely kind of win his team certain fights. So I'm interested to see what exactly happens, and I am a little bit less enthused depending on how this goes. You already see an early invade coming out from the Galio, but Jarvan's here to support.
Yeah, they still want to force it. City Witty, despite being quite strong at his particular level, he's not ready to 1v3 quite yet. So he has to flash away. Here comes the flag and drive from Mink. Gets the knock up onto City Witty. He's going to pop a smite to get some heal back, but he's in a world of trouble. First blood goes over to Kaming Yige, but a trading killing blow will come back over to NML against first place Snow G.
You know, as nebulous as I made a lot of these, I'm still on the fence on whether or not that might be a chunk. I mean, it wasn't a gank that went badly, right? It was the poorly timed invade. But again, City Witty going for a little bit different of a clear here, right? He cleared out his top side and then immediately went for that back. Had to go into bot side to try and at least contest for blue buff, and while he got the experience and the gold from it, he is going to be a little bit behind. I think the smart thing here for City Witty, he already notices, say, hey, bot side, not going to be worth it for me to invest, maybe even look towards top, but this Karma top matchup is not forgiving against the melee like Wukong.
Yeah, I would have to say that, as many people have speculated, the reason why they baited out the Aphelios first pick for XC Nation is that Cassiopeia is a pretty common counter pick into it. I don't know if you know any more in depth about that matchup in general, but when the enemy Aphelios happens to get double buffs, it makes that lane counter pick not as powerful for a time being.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Cassiopeia does have some timing windows that she needs to be able to break to at least fight against Aphelios. We think about Tyr, right, which she has now picked up on this first back. We think about maybe going for something like a Rylai's or even the Leandries. She needs to be able to get those a lot sooner and definitely online versus someone like Aphelios who is just waiting to get Infinity Edge and Runons. And like you were saying, getting double buffs, getting a kill for yourself doesn't give you any kind of favors, but I don't think it should blow out the lane too much. I'm a lot more interested to see how City Witty is able to deal with the impact of this early game.
Yeah, losing your flash and then continuously getting invaded, pushed out of your jungle, and still dying.
Dude, this is watching one of this got to feel really personal for you.
Dude, this is what I experience on a daily basis, man. So, like, I feel for City Witty right now, especially when you're playing on an aggressive jungler like Olaf, who excels in the early game and needs to snowball to stay relevant towards that mid game. Already, this is a pretty devastating blow. However, City Witty is a better player than I am and has the mental strength of a rock. So he's going to be able to rebound, understand that as Olaf, he still has the ability to be able to solo dragons very early on, and he picks up that first one of the game.
Yeah, and really great job right there. He does get himself, obviously, a little bit right there, right? He is missing in terms of some, creep score and some gold, but I think that dragon should have evened up the gold. They're about 250, so it is somewhat negligible. Mink will be able to race to level 6 a lot faster, and like we were saying, the Jarvan level 6 is where we're looking to see this kind of impact. I'm actually really interested to know, Eclipse isn't a fantastic mid laner. I think that that's pretty fair to say considering the pool that we have for amateur, but all things considered, this mid lane has been going pretty well. Hasn't been forced to blow flash versus CP freeze. He's going to get a little bit of support here as we see the support kind of roam into the lane. And we haven't seen an early Jarvan gank, and he's been able to get to level 6 rather calmly. On the opposite side, the Azir has picked up the call, which I think is a pretty intelligent pick, right? A lot of people are not respecting how important something like Cole into a freeze lane. Oh my god, that minion ball top lane. Actually nuts.
Close call there for Speedo there. Dodges out on the little bit of harass from Real Philip. Unfortunately, it's still a little demoralizing whenever you have to play against Karma top as a bruiser. But, concerning that mid lane matchup that you're referring to, Eclipse, it is a little strange that for City Witty, if he wants to be able to play through mid lane or look at that as an option, it's kind of hard to early on since Castle doesn't really offer much utility to be able to set up ganks or priority to be able to invade onto the jungle of Mink, but now bottom lane, just some heavy trades going in the favor of Kaming and first place Snow G. It's going to give them opportunity to look for a potential roam if they want to infiltrate the jungle of City Witty.
I was gonna say that was going to be a pretty positive play there, coming out in favor of World Class. I mean, they do trade some health, but getting rid of that gun ammo, I'll hold that, potentially a fight here. Pretty low and really good guns for the Aphelios.
Now they load up a bunch of the crowd control onto NML, but
Uh-oh.
if Nautilus is far tankier than it's expected. Wait, Speedo might just get bam, baby. It's a dunk from Mink. Flash is traded from both the jungler and top laner of both teams. And just like that, Mink is on the board once again.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that I had highlighted when I was taking a look in review of both of these teams. Speedo has a pretty large amount of this team's deaths, especially when it comes to isolated. This man is constantly dying in a solo lane, whether it be to his enemy lane opponent or a jungle gank. It means that by himself most of the time, Speedo is in a pretty bad position and is rather frequently sacked for a weak side counter. So really great job. They're able to at least get real Philip in a better position. He will have his Athenes, and like I was saying, he will always have push. He can win the 1v1, and especially in that 2v2, they will have the damage output for world-class elite to try and at least hold them. But going for that Tiamat is not going to be doing this Wukong any favors.
I love what the bottom lane for XT Nation are doing here. They're setting a very slow but almost impending dooming freeze against Lost in a Moment and NML, and it's just very hard for Cassiopeia to be able to walk up and interact, but Speedo says, you know what, I don't really appreciate what you did to me in the top lane just a few minutes ago. I'm going to go in with the all-in.
Oh, wait a minute,
Speedo barely does not get the last tick of damage. Real Philip has to flash out. City Witty has a flash that he's already used, needs to be able to get in range, throws down the Chilling Smite, and Undertow will connect onto the top lane.
Undertow, and he turns into the Undertaker. He's able to find that kill, gets a little bit of revenge. Both top laners starting 0-1. Well, that is Aphelios looking to trade a little bit of damage, but Cassiopeia does have ultimate, and I think Kamiyige has to be a little bit careful here. We do see Mingus here. He does have the Rift Herald, so this is going to be, I think, the play that tries to open up the matchup between these two.
Not all the plays are quite taken down yet, but Mink doesn't give a damn. He has Cataclysm. He's got the Galio there. In comes the hero's entrance, but wait a second. You cannot die the Cassiopeia just like that. Petrifying Gaze is absolutely beautiful. Passes forward and goes in for the double, but Kami will be able to answer one back.
Yeah, that's a huge play here for the side of World Class. They're able to completely turn that. That Gallery ult came out a little too early. They're not able to quite instantly lock it down. I think, like we were saying about the Olaf matchup, where just lock him in the cage and flag and drag out. We saw that, but for Cassiopeia, but it just wasn't well timed, and I think there was a little bit of hesitation coming out from the bot lane here for XT Gerb Nation, and amazing job. I think it is a net positive play here for the side of World Class Elite or World Class Empyreans, sorry. I'm interested to see where they go from here. They will be able to get a little bit of a reset here. Both bot lanes will be here. There is no ultimate now for Galio. This is a Ocean Soul that is going over. And interestingly enough, a lot of dragons tend to go over for the side of XT Gerb Nation, even when they shouldn't. We talk about that Supernova game that they had. They were just getting massive amounts of Mountain Souls. They kept getting the Soul Point. They were behind. We saw it in the Polar Ace one too, where they were just getting kind of just free dragons. Now it was obviously a little bit indexed towards having that Nunu for themselves, but I'm surprised enough that we see that coming out from them, and now they're able to push this. A lot of members collapsing towards bot.
Rift Herald is being spawned as well by Mink. Not going to take down the turret quite yet, but gets more turret plates over to the side of XT Nation, giving more of that local gold. It does lead into about half 1k of advantage, so it's not the end of the world here for World Class Empyreans. I did want to point out that one of the things you listed was Lost in a Moment hard carries a fight. Yeah. Now, it wasn't necessarily a fight, a dive, but I don't know. I think a sip at least. That. Yeah, a sip, because he played that dive pretty damn well. Unfortunately for City Witty, even though he is Olaf, and as our good friend Smax will say, the only purpose of Olaf brings is being able to secure the first 2 dragons every single time. He's not going to be able to fulfill that condition here as CP Freeze goes in for a trade, but meanwhile back in the bot lane, the lockdown is just insane, and Kami cannot do a damn thing about it. First place Snow G is going to have to flash away to be able to escape the impending doom that Lost in a Moment in ML bring from this bottom lane.
Yeah, and there's nothing that Galio can do in that moment, right? He can only walk up on them and he's gone.
It's that simple. But he's
Rovex?
taking a lot of
Rovex?
crit damage. Oh, well, Mink says, all right, let's go time, baby, but you cannot out-damage in the Cassiopeia. Hopefully it's going to buy enough time for the real Philip to come in. Beautiful stopwatch. Lost in a moment is definitely baited in a moment. We'll pop the stopwatch, goes golden, but it's a shutdown for the real Philip.
He gets lost in the namesake, right? He's trying to go for the kill, but 600 gold stopwatch just kind of shows up pretty massively to save that for the side of XT Gervation. Have to invest the TP there, meaning a couple of plates will be traded over to Wukong. But just an insane few kind of series of plays there, right? We see the Aphelios go down in that 2v2. They look for that. Galio is just a kind of a sad bystander, just has to watch as the AD carry goes down. And then they are able to trade that. Sadly, Rovex is not able to get the aftershock on the Nautilus to try and at least mitigate some of the damage coming out from that heated up turret. And we end up seeing a pretty great play for them, still even in the gold here. And we're talking about a time bomb. That top lane is going to start to fall. City Woody is up here.
Real Philip tries to pop the Ignite thanks to the Unsealed Spellbook, but it's just not going to be enough against City Witty, who is just running him down.
Wait a
but
minute.
under the turret takes a little too much. Just one more Inner Fire or Inner Flame will be able to connect, but it barely misses out. City Witty has done his job, however. He bought enough time for Speedo to be able to take the first brick of the game, and unfortunately for XT Nation, they're just too slow to be able to beat them in the race.
Now, Rafa, I gotta ask you, do you have your watch on you right now?
I do, actually.
Okay. I think your watch might be broken. I'll actually hold that as Rovex does get engaged punch to be able to escape, but
Fine.
I was gonna say,
Oh, no.
Philip, that's the flash. I don't know if we'll be able to talk about it, but it might say on your time, it might say 5:42 p.m. if I have your time right for your time zone.
You got it.
But it might be eclipse time. We take a look. He's level 11. It's Ascendant time. We're almost to level 16. We got 5 more levels here, and
Hey, you said it was Eclipse time, and Eclipse is already on the backside, just making sure that he cuts off any escape routes from the real Philip. We'll donate the kills over to Speedo and City Woody, respectively. And without real Philip there, they do not have their top lane to be able to contest for this Rift Herald that has been started by world-class Empyreans.
They need to be really careful here. CP Freeze might have to engage, but it's the ultimate.
If Aerogenesis comes in from first place, Snow G is now fighting Speedo, who has teleported in and potentially into his death. Beautiful Emperor's Divide from CP Freeze puts himself back into a safe place, taming onto the backside as now the front line and the back lines are becoming more clear. The fighting is just going chaotic inside the jungle. A lot of burst damage coming out from both sides, but in the end, world-class Empyreans just do not have enough fuel in the tank to be able to compete against XT Nation right now. And Eclipse, even though it was his time to shine, the rest of the supporting cast was not there on the same page. Now they're just looking to run him down while Mink looks to secure this Rift Herald.
Oh no, and he's not able to get it over the wall. He does have flash. They know that there's no engage. just his punches into the wall. And I was really worried there for the side of World Class. They're starting up this Rift Herald, and members like Aphelios and this Azir are going untouched. Speedo TPs into that top side to try and deal with the Azir. I'll hold that. Exhaust comes out from Real Philip. Inner Fire.
Eclipse wants to be able to limit test a little bit. The real Philip realizes that, you know what, even through the exhaust, it's not enough power as Athene's Unholy Grail, unfortunately, outbattering. I don't know if you've ever tried to fight a Cassinan as Karma before, but when you've only got so much ability power, you definitely can't take him down quite as easily, but he's going to try.
I don't know. Hey, look, I've never tried to do it. I don't play non-fun champions like Karma. I play very fun champions like Aphelios and Ezreal and Varus. And all the champions that die instantly to when Cassidy walks up to on me. But, you know, it is going to be rough. She's also only indexing into armor, right? We do have the Digitabby, so things like this Cassidy will be really tough to deal with. And she is building that to try and try to mitigate some of the damage from the top and jungle. Hold on, we're going for a fight.
4-4 comes in from Eclipse. They're going to start the fight on their side. World-class Empyreans already take one down on a Snow G. But beautiful burst damage that is coming in from XT Nation. Just Aphelios is just going off the wall, baby. Double kills for both Kaming and CP Freeze. The fight was started by world-class Empyreans, but it will be ended by XT Nation.
Amazing job right there. They're able to find that, even with no Galio ultimate, getting re-engaged upon World Class, a team that about 2 weeks ago was the talk of the town for Amateur. They were taking down massive teams, and we were saying maybe this is their rise, but everyone in Amateur gets their week in the sunshine, and it looks like the dark spot is starting to grow here as we get further into this game. Almost 18 minutes, a dragon going over in favor of XT Group Nation and looking really strong. I mean, again, the parts of this team that are looking great with CP Freeze and Kamiyage are exactly what we want to see from them. They're doing fantastic. We even see from the Azir picking up Nashers, picking up the Rabadons, and he's just completely uncontested. This is what we need to see. This is exactly what we wanted to see from them, but you have Eclipse, you have this Cassiopeia. I think early on you're looking to just kind of secede a lot of the early game, at least from this mid and bot, and try to contest as we get further into this game. Cassiopeia, not level 11. Aphelios completely unanswered in that last fight, and is only getting closer to this Runons.
Yeah, you have to give a lot of credit to Mink for being able to not only control that fight so beautifully with that Cataclysm, but also the fact that he is the unsung hero of this composition here, because going Jarvan, we all know that Mink likes to pull out some of the strange picks like the Nunu, but we also know that Mink loves to invest into some high damage builds, and him going full tank is basically saying, you know what guys, I'm not going to have fun this game, but I'm just going to be able to lock down and soak up as much damage. But Real Philip, I mean, he's trying to soak up some damage as well, but he's only got a Fiends and Ardent Sensor, very high economy support build, but it's not going to be enough to take one down. But Mink is bringing in the cavalry, ladies and gentlemen. First place Snow G comes in clutch with the hero's entrance, and they take down City Witty.
I think City Witty's going to need a few more Graggy Ice as we see. Gravitum comes out.
Another taunt onto Speedo. You know, Al, I think I did let the G word slip, so I'm going to have... It's time for a chug, ladies and gentlemen. But the action does not stop here. CP Freeze trying to flash away, but NML is going to be able to follow up.
Beautiful. Wait a minute.
CP Freeze, what was that, man? Beautiful Emperor's Divide puts Eclipse and NML in their place, and they get denied in the stiff farm. Real Philip, the action still never stops. This is Risen Esports on Octane Energy, baby. Real Philip comes in with a teleport, locks down Lost in a moment. He truly is lost in the game right now. CP Freeze looking for another pick onto MNML. He still doesn't have flash from the last encounter, and it's a double for the Real Philip, and just like that, there is a slight numbers advantage. Maybe they just do Baron on spawn.
Man, I'm feeling some Andre 3000 vibes right now, because right now this is yours, ice cold. It is actually insane. I'll hold that as Galio just gonna be shaking hands.
He's got flash. He's going in. He make the kill. City Witty, the hero for World Class Empyreans, makes the Baron steal happen. It's another chug in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Oh baby, this game is delivering.
Yeah, I mean, that is going to at least stop the side of XT Group Nation from straight up winning the game. I think if they're able to grab that Baron and look to try to siege after a reset, it's looking a little bit rough. But City Witty makes the hero play, flashes over the walls, able to grab that, and really fantastic job from him. I'm still hesitant to say, you know, we're still in this game. We take a look at Eclipse, he is really far behind. When you take a look at itemization difference right now, he is sitting on almost his tier item being finished, not at least stacking wise, but just built wise. And we take a look on the opposite side, Azir is just completely uncontested, right? We're taking a look at this. Oh, that is, he's just ripping apart Rovex. Yeah. This is ripping apart Rovex. It is really sad to watch when you take a look at that. But there's no one on this opposite side. Speedo's not in a position. He's still trying to wait for the Death Dance. I hope we don't have to see that being built and finished. We don't have to take a sip there. But City Witty's not in a position to ever try to contest versus Azir. They have to try and make this turret defense, but just give up these waves. You have a lot of turrets, and surprisingly, the best thing about this for the side of World Class, there's only 3 turrets taken, and one of them is an outer turret without a lot of push, and the middle lane is the shortest of them all. So realistically, this is the best case scenario out of the burning dumpster fire that is this early game. They're holding as another turret falls. I think they're going to try and look for this under the turret.
All right, CP Freeze, let's see how your 1v3 abilities are. We've seen the 1v2s happen. There's a lot of damage going on for both sides, and unfortunately, it's just not enough, even with the assistance of that turret. But, Alk Battery, as we shift our attention towards the bottom side of the map, the next dragon is up on the table. Will be the third one. And I need a hashtag gun check for Kami for this upcoming team fight.
Hey, he's got insane guns. He's got the chakrams. I'll hold that as they're going right onto the Cassiopeia, and I'm able to find the engage. This could be where we see Extermination.
Well, the engagement has been made, but not really committal for both sides.
No.
Speedo looks for a Cyclone, but I should say that he doesn't have that because he already used it on the top side of the map. He gets the shutdown on the real Philip, though, in first place, Snow G. Well, he's not going to be able to get out. Oh, beautiful interception from NML. Gets him with the dredge line, hook line, and sinker, ladies and gentlemen. Kami and Mink are the only ones left to try and contest this dragon, but world-class Empyreans showing full force, and I have to say a little bit of revitalization off of the Baron seal from City Witty earlier on.
Most importantly here is Eclipse is picking up gold. He's gotten the 1,000 bounty from killing Freeze. He's able to then pick up another 450 from killing this Galio. So a lot of gold is finally being put into Eclipse. And like you were saying, City Witty able to find some of those engages. I love that they go for that. And specifically, I think Rovex sitting on this Nautilus has had a little bit of ways to try to find this. But again, a lot of this still sits on the side of XT Group Nation, giving away those kinds of free engages. It is on them to make the fight happen, and it kind of backfires for them. The Galliot is not quite in position. They try to lock up certain members, and Real Philip in a really dangerous position at the beginning of that fight. So this is still, again, this is the driver's seat here is for the side of XT Group Nation, and they just made a little bit of a wrong turn here. They're gonna go onto Eclipse.
Well, Eclipse does have Flash. I sincerely believe that he is just fine. Now, Speedo, on the other hand, everyone, you need to take a quick chug because we got our first Death Stance built in the game. Speedo being able to rock that as his second full item. Notice how he still just got brown boots. He doesn't have the full Nikes or Adidas fully built up yet.
They're the special boots. They're the slightly magical ones.
Oh, okay. So they're not brown bags. They're slightly special brown bags.
They're not like the brown like paper lunch bag that you would have. Like they're like 1,000 thread count potato sacks.
Are they like chacos? Like really nice chacos?
Oh yes.
I do like some sandals, especially if you take care of your feet. It's always nice.
He is Wukong, and he does have the flank here, but I don't know if he's too into footwear personally. Might need hypertension to answer that. That's a lore question for him.
Oh, yeah, true.
That's a lore question for the lore guy.
Yeah, very true. Now, we'll have to get some consultation after the series ends here, but we still got a long ways to go, gentlemen, because if we take a look at the gold lead, it is pretty much dead even at this point in the game. Yes, it is a 3,000 gold advantage here for... Hey, but check this out. When the later the game goes, when you're going up against Caston, it doesn't matter. But I'm gonna take that back. Speedo, Jesus Christ, why are you that so far back up? Now Mink forces the engagement down on the Lost in a moment because it's just a Cassiopeia without a flash. There's nowhere that Lost can run to. It's an easy double kill for CP Freeze. First place Snow G, zoning off City Witty. Eclipse getting taken out here is gonna have to just walk away. City Witty now in the death match of his life, flashes over the wall in the very last second, will be able to survive, but the members of XTG Nation will continue to siege down onto the base of world-class Empyreans.
I'm so confused as to why we're taking these fights, though. If you're on the side of, world-class elite, you take a look at City Witty. Where is he positioning? All right, he's positioning a little bit aggressively. Eclipse on a side lane, not really able to... They're going for the re-engage now. I'll hold that.
Eclipse is not level 16 yet. He's almost there. If world-class Empyreans can only just buy a little bit more time for that time bomb to start ticking away, but...
He's cutting the wave.
XT Nation just having their way with world-class Empyreans despite the Baron steal that City Witty was able to pull off. Baron is live right now. City Witty is not up for another 25 seconds. This could be their opportunity to sneak it right now.
Exactly, and amazing guns here for the Aphelios to try and do this as fast as possible. Again, one of the newest changes to Aphelios is that the chakrams do not reset on doing, the epic Drake, so we'll not be able to do that super fast. They're looking for a bunch of engages now, going on a CP Freeze.
Oh, CP Freeze finds the monkey and is going to punch him right back into the team, but that might have been a little ill-advised, but I take that back. Speedo is squishy as hell, even despite the death stance. Beautiful taunt locks up NML and Eclipse for an easy double Kami's going to be able to clean that on one. Just beautiful. He is on janitor duty. Triple kill. He is cleaning these kids up left and right. CP Freeze picks up the final killing blow onto Lost in a moment. Looks like City Witty is throwing in the towel. The rest of World Class Empyreans says it's over. Let's move on. Game 2, we're going to come back strong as XT Nation push in the final mini wave.
Again, on paper, this draft for World Class Elite is looking to try and have that scaling aspect, but none of them kind of perform to that level. I mean, Eclipse is not able to land the ultimates. One of the important parts of Kassadin is obviously putting down that damage. CP Freeze, please do not die to Nexus turrets. But, like, no one's focusing Aphelios. Speedo is so far behind. I think sticking him on things like Ornn is much more important than trying to go for lane counter picks or like the Wukong, right? And City Witty, for all he was trying, I think that a lot of this team just came down to mispositioning and when they wanted to look for fights. I mean, the last 10 minutes was just completely dictated by Speedo and Eclipse not being in the same position. And it was really rough to see all of those fights. Again, CP Freeze doing a fantastic job, I think, on that champion. Really just pushing, Wukong, making sure that he's not able to stick onto his team. That was maybe not the most even on the same playing field kind of fight I was looking for from the side of Empyreans.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like there was a lot of times they were forcing fights when they didn't have the stat advantage. It seemed like they were just taking unnecessary skill checks and limit testing. It is game 1 of a best of 3, so they always have opportunities to be able to come back in this game 2. This could, as if you ever play any fighting games, Alk Battery, that sometimes you might kind of throw yourself to the wolves and do some really erroneous, weird, that might be very questionable. But then by game 2, everything is cleaned up. That is what we call the download, Alk Battery. And so
I don't know if I have them downloaded. There wasn't much to see there. I mean, like, that's like the download that like stops halfway through. It's at 56%. You're like, all right, this is taking too long. Cancel, just goes all the way back down. There wasn't a lot to see there. I'm expecting for at least a little bit of a difference. Specifically, we are going to switch to. I'm waiting to hear what exactly. I'm pretty sure World Class Elite are going to be picking up blue side. So I want to see them prioritize an 80 carry here for a loss in the moment. And dude, Ornn got nerfed. I get it, right? Like, he doesn't have the same percentage values for his passive for building items, but seeing this guy play like Wukong, sick him on GP or Ornn. He needs to play weak side. He needs to play champions that are going to at least be relevant when we get to a later part in the game, if we are going to be picking things like the Cassiopeia and the Kassadin.
Yeah, we can definitely fault World Class Empyreans for prioritizing a laner that needs to ensure that it is more of an R5 pick rather than just a blind pick into a whatever, because clearly the Karma matchup was just not what Speedo needed, because when you're playing Wukong, you definitely want to snowball and you want to be able to build a bunch of items that put you more on the squishy side. Going into Trinity Force, Death Stance, yes, he was able to complete that later on, but by the time he got into that item, he still doesn't have that many durability stats. It's just a little bit of armor and a little bit of MR. The bleed from Death Stance comboed with a higher health pool item like the Black Cleaver would have made him slightly beefier and last longer in fights. But with that Trinity Force, you do a lot of damage, but you are very squishy and you're very easy to lock down. And because he was the one starting off fights, it just speaks a little bit of overconfidence coming from Speedo. I would have liked to see that if he's going to go for that very aggressive build, that he should be focused more into the split push game rather than being the one forcing the fights here for World Class Empyreans.
Yeah, I don't want to get too far ahead because I do want to see what comes out in game 2, and I am excited to see. Although remember, this is a 2-2 versus 1-3, and in World Class Elite or World Class Empyreans need to find the victory here. They need to be able to win against XT Group Nation if they want to try and tie up the bottom part of this bracket and at least make a push for playoffs.
Yeah, match point is on the line here for World Class Empyreans as XT Nation just need one more win out of this best of 3 to secure that victory over this squad. But we'll have to find out after this break whether World Class Empyreans can bring it back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting ready for Game 2 between XT Nation and World Class Empyreans. And, I have to be honest, South Battery, and a little disclaimer to all of our lovely audience in the chat. I was not prepared with my beverage of choice during that first game, but now I have, and I'm just going to go ahead and catch up real quick. So, as I'm going over my chugs and tips to make sure that I'm in line with everyone else, South Battery, what specifically in terms of champions do you want to see World Class Empyreans prioritize in the second draft?
I mean, rhymes with Abelios. Probably going to be looking for an engage, and again, something for a weak side top laner, because Speedo, not fantastic. I think City Witty, if he does want to play that Olaf, is going to need lanes that are going to grab priority early on. And I think things like Karma on the opposite side just completely just shut down that plan for them. So I would prefer, if we are going to see City Witty on something more aggressive, that you have lanes that can actually do that. Because I don't think Cassidy's ever going to try to grab lane priority away from a Zir early into the game. Ever. I think that's pretty fair. So, I'm hopeful here for Empyrean, for World Class Empyreans.
Okay.
How is it, Soju? What flavor is it? Is it the green grape?
Yeah. So I don't know if I told. Well, I think I told you this, but Joe, you might not know. So before we all went into quarantine, I lucked out by ordering through our local ABC a full case of soju. Yes, imported straight from Seoul. So we still have like a solid another 16 bottles. So because I think it was a pack case of 24. So we're good here, And I'm only using these for the special occasions, which is why we only get the best here on twitch.tv/risen_esports. But after my chugs, the back of my head is this is I'm looking at this half bottle of soju. I'm like, damn, did I really just go through that quick? That's crazy.
Guys, remember, drink responsibly.
Drink responsibly. I've got water here in case anything gets a little too crazy. But draft is starting up, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see if we can get any more chugs in the chat. World Class Empyreans are going to open up the draft with an Azir ban and a Graves to mark it off as well.
Do you think? Are you okay? Oh my God, Rafa, I hope you're okay. But I really, I think it'd be just a little too cheeky if we see some Gragas. We did just see him in mid lane, I think last night, right? For Chovy. First one picked in like 3,000 days, and it was against Ambition Ziggs when he was playing mid lane. But already we're seeing a lot change up in the draft. Not only has Kalista and Varus made it through, Syndra, I think is a lot more interesting. Graves and Varus staying a red side ban is so important. I thought it was incredibly weird that we saw XT Nation being the ones on blue side to get rid of that, but already taking a lot more of the stronger and lane neutral mid lane picks away from CP Freeze. I think is super important. So for Empyreans, they have their choice. Set is available, they can go for that first pick, but Aphelios, Ezreal's also not banned this time, so we might have the chug here coming out, because Aphelios got picked, that is the chug, but, if Ezreal comes out, that's not too surprising, I would think. Now, for XT, they can pick whatever they want. I would expect them to actually just try and early pick up their jungler. They can go for their bot lane here. I think Nautilus is still a fine pick against someone like Aphelios. You want to have some kind of engage to lock him down, but
yes, sir. Well, XCG Nation say, if it ain't broke, why fix it? They're gonna go with the Karma. We know this is a powerful flex pick, and Ezreal has been locked in. Now it's not it's an or.
It's and or.
Yeah, and or. So we already got the one chug from Aphelios, so no need to kill yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. So drink responsibly. I have my bottle of water. Don't worry about me. I am a professional, by the way. Nautilus getting locked in here by World Class Empyreans. They got the bait and switch. They said, the Nautilus are gonna really, lead us to victory. So we're gonna go with the Lulu. And I know, Elk Battery, you are a particular fan of Aphelios Lulu.
Yeah, I've been a big proponent to stop having Aphelios with engaged supports. I think unless he has a really great way to be able to peel for you, things like Thresh come to mind. But engaged supports are not what you want Aphelios. It is not how you want to play around this champion, where you empower him to kind of just do whatever he wants. I think he has enough tools within his kit to try to, do in a team fight what most other AD carries can't. And giving him something like Lulu is exactly what I want to see. Things like Yumi, I think, were also really great examples of champions that do really well. Karma, we've seen really rise in priority with just how powerful things like Athenes are. So Set as well, I think Empyreans here have made out with a pretty lucky draft, all things considered. It does mean that their team is a little bit lower to the ground when it comes to range, and things like Ezreal and Karma having that ability to keep people at arm's length is really important. But now we're actually going to be able to see, coming through the second part of the ban phase, what are the prioritizations here for the side of XT Group Nation and Empyreans. God damn it, I said it. That is a chug. You love to see it. Olaf being taken away, so junglers for either side are free.
Well, Empyreans, the ball is in your court. We can make some more jungle bans happen, as XT Nation have not locked in anything unless they are going to be that experimental and pull out the Ezreal jungle. I don't think there's really any team that pick is on their radar yet. I'm a big proponent, but I can't make it work, so I'm hoping that a better player and a better team will be able to make it work for them, as they're going to go with a Zoe ban instead, looking towards that mid lane. We know that the Karma can potentially still be in the top lane for the real Philip instead of CP Freeze. And the Cassidy being taken away does speak a lot in towards of what type of mid laner that XT Nation do want to pick, primarily a magic source damage. So hopefully World Class Empyreans get a little alert here like, hey, what should we ban for the mid lane next?
5 mid lane bans. I expect nothing less coming out against CP Freeze. This guy has a huge champion pool when it comes to just trying to play these mid lane mages and getting rid of all of these hard scaling champions that come into the late game. They are going to try and save this last counter pick. I don't expect it to be a set jungle, although I can't imagine into Thresh it is an awful matchup, but things like Sejuani, I am such a big fan of Sejuani. I know everyone hates it. Everyone's like, oh, I finally get to see Sejuani versus Jarvan, my favorite matchup. But this champion, despite some nerfs, is really strong, and especially with how big Set has been, picking up on melee champions when you have Sejuani is so important, and Diana being the potential here for world-class Empyreans is super interesting, and something we've seen a few teams, specifically another brand of the XT Esports squad, have been huge fans of the Lunari.
Good old Yumbi primarily was the prophet of Diana, bringing it against Aphelios compositions. Notice here that Eclipse, I think, is the only other mid laner that has brought out Diana, but oh man, you're going to ban out so many mid laners, but you're not going to ban out the Vladimir from CP Freeze?
Vladimir, boys, everyone, we're gonna have some fun. Yeah, I mean, hey, it happens. But look, Vladimir, I think, is still really interesting. You have a lot of melee champions that want to come into, they want to try to aggress into you. You take a look at this top side of the map between Set, Diana. Vladimir is not going to have a problem getting into this team. I think the real issue here for XT Group Nation is, how do they stop World Class Empyreans for just walking over them? You have someone like Lulu that can empower the Set and the Diana. Isn't necessarily something that has to be strictly for Aphelios, right? And you are on blue side, you do have a little bit more priority when it comes to getting out onto the map for that Rift Herald, and I think breaking it out, Ezreal does not have a fantastic time trying to deal with Diana. Even with Arcane Shift, Diana just continues to get that Lunar Rush right on top of him, and the damage is pretty lacking. I think it's fair to say when you take a look at Karma, early on she does have some great poke, but you do not have, trying to whittle down Set is incredibly difficult. I think everyone would agree.
It's definitely not the easiest time, and paired along with Sejuani, I do like the fact that having double melee lanes in your solo lanes empowers the Sejuani pick even further. We like to meme that Sejuani is, because she is tank jungler, she's not really available and cannot answer Jarvan in these early ganks, but when you have melee laners that can enable the permafrost stacking so much faster, it makes those ganks incredibly deadly, and especially counter ganks as well, because I would imagine that City Witty is going to want to be in a position where it is just matching the aggression of Mink, because last time around when City Witty was trying to force the plays, Mink was always there with the counter, and this time around I would like to see a more prioritization of getting that econ for himself, but just being in the right place at the right time and answering back and clapping back in those ways.
I'm actually really interested that we didn't see Nunu blind coming out from Mink for the side of XT Group Nation. God damn it.
My God,
for XT Nation,
why?
I mean, like, look, for Mink, I think the Nunu blind here would have been potentially a fine pick. You do have Aphelios and Lulu who can't necessarily deal with the Nunu all that well. I think the Whimsy Polymorph would be the biggest answer, and Set actually just makes his life is a complete living hell trying to deal with Nunu sitting on top of him. He's got those snowballs, he hits the root. Like you were saying, I think seeing the Jarvan here for the side of XT Nation will be a lot more interesting. I think giving themselves again the engage will be important, but they don't have the same kind of follow-up tools. The Vladimir maybe will be able to get into range. I don't think Ezreal really wants to try and get into a cage fight with many of these members on the side of World Class Empyreans. And I will restate, I am worried for the damage kind of composition here coming out from XT Nation. They are very much a burst team, but they also have a lot of whittle down poke coming out from Ezreal. So it seems a little bit off kilter with the scope of where their team wants to be. And we've given Speedo this kind of unbreakable top laner this time. I'm interested to see what happens.
I'm right there with you, Onk Battery. I'm a little concerned about this Vladimir coming out from CP Freeze. It is one of his signature champions, and it does put World Class Empyreans in a state where, yes, they're trying to dive onto the backline, but what is the backline here? Because Kaming on this Ezreal is going to be pretty self-sufficient at peeling himself off, and CP Freeze, along with Mink, is going to be the one saying, hey, we're diving onto you. We're forcing the situation onto your backline instead. So it is going to be a climatic battle, as World Class Empyreans need to be able to take this game off to survive, be able to come back against XT Nation, whereas XT Nation are at match point. And as we're getting ready to get onto the Rift for Game 2, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick technical break to get ready. Don't turn off that browser. We'll be right back. Game 2 has started, ladies and gentlemen, between world-class Empyreans and XT Nation. I'm not going to say the G word there, you know, because I gotta watch myself, and I gotta make sure I'm looking out for all the homies in the chat as we see a very, very intriguing level 1 here.
Oh,
really
speed of flash. You did not just say he doesn't know Pepe. I hate you. Such it. All right. And you know, speaking about the game, you know, City Witty coming in. He's a super fan of G2. I don't know why he would get the Sejuani, man. He should know. He should know. If you're a fan of G2, you see the Sejuani, you're logging out. You're waiting until next week's game. That's it. You know.
Hey, come on, man. Jankos' Sejuani is clean.
Yeah, so is his Braum. You know,
true.
But you know, getting that early flash, in all seriousness, getting that early flash away from the set is not only important because again, this Karma can lock him down. It also kind of, you know, eliminates some of the early... Oh, no. Shh.
Snoker shooting. Oh, but he saw. I said it. Okay, now we have the gas in a very hushed tone. It's all silent. They don't know. Gaming.
I think they know.
No, they don't know. Because look, where's Pink? He's on the other side of the jungle.
What are you doing?
Oh, baby.
What the hell is City?
Oh, it's City! What are you doing, brother? You're taking a lot of damage. Ignite comes out from... Oh, he got the spine. He's now level 2. He goes in with the Arctic Assault. First place No G might be in the worst place for them before. He doesn't have Permafrost, however, so there's no stacking of a stun to be had. First place Snow G and Kaming only burn their offensive summoner spells, but not the flash.
I am so confused. So now we can't even go for flash plays on Sejuani. We'll be able to at least double buff as we see immediately so much time was wasted there. This level 2 is actually going to be such a long time here coming out from both bot laners. They missed the first wave, or at least partial of the first wave, and it is going to be incredibly rough. Thankfully, you know, with Mink going topside, should mean that we're not going to be seeing too much jungle assistance, but specifically, like you're saying, that Ignite going down is pretty massive. That gets rid of that kill pressure that you're perhaps looking onto either Aphelios or Lulu, and it does change the lane matchup as Mink gets found out he's level 3 and he has red buff here.
Yeah, and Mink has the level advantage, and City Witty already burning the flash in the earlier exchange in the invade. You know, all Lowry, I don't know how I feel about this one. Speedo doesn't have flash either. Mink should be able to have flag and drive one more time. Shout out to Britney Spears because he's hitting it one more time. Speedo is just going to go down in a blink, and Mink is on the board.
One more time, and if I'm on the side of world-class Empyreans, I gotta celebrate. Yeah, or sorry, on the side of XT Nation, I am. You know, one more time, I gotta celebrate because that is. This feels like last night's game that we played, where you know, I told the enemy jungler that you don't have flash anymore on Italy, and suddenly we're going for an invade. I would be mad too, trust me. But yeah, Mink gets to start off 2-0, and this this set just gets so far behind now. Not only has he lost control of the wave, it's going to slam into his turret. He should be able to freeze this in front of it, but Real Philip should be able to just boss him around on this. And we see mid lane, Clips just taking the trade to him, but Mink and the side of XT Nation getting off to a really great start.
Oh my god, Clips just fighting fire with fire, and Freeze cannot get back in time to use the blood transfusion one more time and to get the healing off. Well played from Eclipse. Very beautiful stuff in the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, that was just excellent. I don't think there's any other words for it. Both junglers are here, and we see the TP coming out from Freeze.
Flash comes in for first place. Snow G. Mink is here for the gank, but City Witty is here for the counter gank. So who wins on top of this one, ladies and gentlemen? Mink still has flash from before and using his mana to be able to get out to safety. But now they're looking for the re-engage. Mink misses the knockup for the flag and drive, but first place Snow G. Critically low on 10 health. Eclipse has a flash if he wants to be able to get in range, but he uses the E to be able to close the distance between himself, and just like that, it was a disastrous early game for City Witty, but thanks to the efforts of Eclipse, they turned things around.
What is with this series and Aphelios getting early buffs before 5 minutes in the game? I wish this happened in my ranked game, personally, but another gank for, the gank after praising Mink just goes completely wide. Eclipse finally able to roam after forcing out that TP. I think it was a well-timed play coming out from Eclipse, finding that early kill onto him, forces out that summoner spell, is able to then roam after pushing the lane. Does have to give up at least a little bit of his wave here, but obviously that's incredibly worth being able to pick up so many kills for your AD carry and being able to not only get that, but also the bounty away from Mink. So great job. City Witty, I think, has gotten himself at least back into this game a little bit. He is still far behind, at least 700 gold, so, but it's really great to see. I'm very sad that that's the series of play, but realistically, this is looking still really good here from the side of XT Nation.
You know, world-class Empyreans definitely love trying to snowball their leads through just pure fighting. Map play is definitely more in the wheelhouse of XT Nation, as demonstrated in the first game around, but so far, Eclipse, despite City Witty's early blubs, you know, I was considering whether it was warranting a sip for him to go that aggressive into the invade and then getting killed in his own jungle and not respecting the fact that Mink could have been there.
That's the last game, right? It happened last game. We didn't tip for that one. I don't think.
Oh, okay. That's fine then. So far we're safe, ladies and gentlemen. We continue sipping on our water for rehydration. He's fine.
He has ultimate here, and Philip doesn't have a lot of heat. I think Speedo just goes for this.
But do you see the rest of the members piling up? It is a party here in the top lane. CP Freeze flashes in, pops the blood transfusion along with the Hemo plate. A couple more auto attacks. Wait a minute. CP Freeze.
He's dead. I mean that's that right there is. It's the wrong champion. They are on the same team, but 200 years of collective game design experience right there. He gets the HP grit shield. Well played by Speedo. He plays the weak side finally really well, and while the turret aggro is being tanked by Mink, he can't do it for that long. Philip does not have enough mana or health to try to mitigate most of that damage. TP Freeze goes under, he's not able to find it, and they get themselves yet another kill here on the opposite side for world-class Empyreans. So really great job. A market improvement here for Speedo, and take a look at how bad that mid lane is hurting for turret plates.
You know, City Witty was trying to make it a jungle diff in favor of Mink, but Eclipse is looking to make it a mid diff, or I should say CP Freeze looking a mid diff in favor of Eclipse here because...
And he steals the blue!
Oh my god. What can this man not do? And he's caught up back in CS despite making that first roam towards the bottom side of the map because CP Freeze made a disastrous roam of his own, burning flash and ulti, and just giving up a death in the end result. That's You hate to see it, bro.
I mean, I just want to take a look at gold right now. You take a look at this CS, you're like, he's only about like, he's only a little bit up. He is 2-0, but he shouldn't be that far ahead. This guy is sitting on 1,500 gold worth of stats. He also has, the Ocean Drake there, which is ticking away, mitigating at least some of this damage coming out for the fight back. Now, Mink, I think, just sitting there trying to protect his mid laner, saying, look, I've got to just escort you at this point. There's not much that I can do. I can't protect you. CP Freeze, good luck to you. 07, throw up some salutes in chat. I'm just going to have to do my best at this point. And now, double buffs here. Or at least, double buffing for blue on the side of City Witty. I love this rotation early on. They get their Aphelios out, and they're now able to prioritize over this Rift Herald. I can't expect them to throw this in mid lane, considering how close it is. But important enough. Here we go.
Mink has to flag and drag towards the safety of his teammates here. Eclipse cannot fully engage. CP Freeze does have Hemo Plague available. Notice how... Oh, Mink,
wait a minute.
You gotta be careful about the amount of damage that's taken from there. Real Philip was there for the flank, but here comes the teleport play from Speedo. Gets the showstopper into the backline, dealing a lot of damage to Mink. It's not gonna take him down, but Blossomimo will be able to find first place. Snowgy on the backside takes him down, and the rest of the members of World Class Empyreans now on the front foot like they normally love to play in the first few minutes of the game.
And, I mean, that was looking like a really... Wait? Oh, he gets out. Okay, there's the SOAS. I mean, we're playing a supportive top laner.
Hell yeah.
We've gotten ganked. We're playing low econ. We teleport out of a bad play. So that's pretty close to it. Obviously missing some French representation, but like you're saying, an amazing fight there from the side of World Class Empyreans. They did a fantastic job with not only setting themselves up, but waiting out a lot of the cooldowns there. Mink no longer has the flag and drag. You're saying, all right, we're going in. And right now, Aphelios is way stronger than Ezreal. Yes, Ezreal does have the sheen and he's somewhat of a monster, but does not have that pickaxe, does not have that Manamune to really try to match pickaxe plus BF sword on the opposite side from Aphelios. So able to get himself a lot of gold, jump starting their bot lane here. I think World Class Empyreans are doing a fantastic job in this early game. It kind of feels like XT Nation, I feel like they're kind of at a loss for words right now. They don't know exactly where they stand. Mink is in very deep enemy lines at this point. I would consider being in the enemy jungle well beyond your territory, and he's trying to steal this red to get himself even. I don't think he has to flash.
Pops the stopwatch, dodges out on the moonfall damage.
Oh no. Oh, moment of silence.
What's the real? We don't want to see that at all.
Oh wait, there's the emote! There's the emotes!
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, that's a sip. Or that's a... Yeah, it's a sip. It's a sip.
It's a sip. Wait, but it's only for XT... But we can fudge the rules a little bit.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Blur between the lines as Eclipse is in terms of being able to differentiate the mid gap that was had in the first game.
I told you the series was going to be jungle gap, and I'm getting, I maybe in a rare case I was wrong. Never before wrong. I've never been wrong before in my life. But maybe this game might be the battle of the mid laners right now, because Eclipse, I think, has not been a fantastic. I said this in game one, but I do not think that comparatively to the pool that we've seen from mid lane, Eclipse has not been that highly rated. And I think that with standout performances like this, I'll actually hold that as we're going for a dive.
Well, City Witty says, I finally have Cinderhawk. That means I'm taking enough to be able to make a tower dive tap now getting punished too hard. Beautiful haymaker flash from Speedo. Clips coming down for the kill. CP Freeze has made the teleport play. Already popped the Hemo Plague, but it doesn't look like he has enough damage in the tank to be able to deal with four members. Speedo getting somewhat low. Should have another haymaker if he needs it for the shield. There it is, right down on the Mink, and this is just a full tank. Jarvan does manage to get a kill down on the City Witty. Look for another one. CP Freeze was actually able to pick one up on the backside despite being dead, and a flash comes in from Eclipse. Meanwhile, picks up a killing blow on the Real Foe as he was chasing him out. Just a couple more auto attacks. Picks Airy, woo, baby. NML with the glitter lance catches Mink on the backside.
Picks the best champion in the game. Doesn't matter if it's Lulu, best passive immediately. Is able to find that with the glitter lance and the area, like you were saying, and able to pick up a pretty great kill. Obviously, really, obviously a great play and a great dive coming out from the side of World Class Empyreans, but any play that you're able to not only pick up kills, but also stop some bounties and get some gold for yourselves, I think is a positive play at the state for the side of XT Nation, because he is not looking too bright. Eclipse has already picked up the Nashor's Tooth. He's level 10, almost about to be level 11. Just want to take a look at his experience real quick. He's about 70% of that way, about 75 now. But he's a force to be reckoned with, and not really playing too well around the Aphelios under the turret, able to pick up some kills. I want to take a look. I would hope that we have some time to breathe here, because it's just been nonstop in this series, right?
It's definitely a banger for sure. And I thought the game 1 was a banger already, but you know what? I think just in the future, when it comes down to world-class Empyreans and XT Nation, they always make the game spicy just by themselves. The fact that they're playing against each other, they are limit testing to the fullest against one another. So it truly brings out the most bronze plays that we can probably... Yeah, I'm just kidding. That's the Soju talk. I wouldn't disrespect them much like that. They're definitely better players than I am. Now, turret will be taken down by Lost in a Moment, and he's just opening up 200 years in the bank, ladies and gentlemen. Lost in a Moment, grabbing him, and Chakram on deck. Looking to flash forward onto...
There's the 200 years!
200 years, baby. Double kill comes down, but the shutdown will come from CP Freeze. It's going to be massive for him to be able to play catch-up in this game, as he is still looking to complete that Spellbinder's Orb, which he should now have enough gold for, thanks to that double kill.
Yeah, and really fantastic. I was going to say the beginning of that is looking really positive on the opposite side. I think, world-class Empyreans, they're doing all right. They're mitigating a lot of this dive. They're trying to go for damage. They're able to find it early on the first place snow. And then that kind of re-engage happens. And I was looking for what that flavor of it was. Was it going to be a little bit sour for XT Nation? We were going to see something not go too well. And while the double kill does go over to CP Freeze, like you were saying, gets himself the gold, gets himself that Spellbinder, I think the most important part right there is Aphelios goes down, gets that double kill, and we see them still able to collapse. And more specifically, Speedo didn't actually push into that top side all that much. I think he was trying to set up for a freeze. The wave wasn't in a great position for him to get, so while they were able to get a lot of damage and get that mid-tier 2 down for Eclipse, Speedo not quite playing the map correctly on the opposite side after that. So I'm looking for how they try to exit this. They are starting up the Rift Herald here. Eclipse is going to start that up solo and take that incredibly quickly. 50 seconds left on the Drake. And now we need to see how, how the side of world-class Empyreans closes this out. How cleanly are they able to siege onto turrets when they only have one ranged member, making it really difficult for them to do so.
World-class Empyreans are rocking a 6,000 gold lead right now at just under the 16-minute mark. Things are definitely going their way for a pretty advantageous snowball, and they could always look to just force with the amount of engagement tools that they have. Problem here, Ankh Battery, is we just saw CP Freeze pick up a massive amount of gold off of the shutdown, and even though individually against Eclipse, he's still about 20 or 1,800 down, he used to be 2,500 gold down, so being able to even out that gold lead and get his first power spec of the game, the fact that no one on the side of world-class Empyreans has invested into magic resistance just means that CP Freeze is going to be doing a lot of damage. So I would imagine that off of this fight for the Dragon, this is where a lot of the power spikes are coming online for XT Nation, and I just want to see how well they can execute.
Yeah, Ezreal does not have his... Oh my god.
Well, Eclipse says it's just go time, baby, and CP Freeze is not in position to be able to respond for a counter engagement, so world-class Empyreans are just going to have their way with most of the members here. Mink does get the Cataclysm down, locks some members down, CP Freeze gets some damage down on the MML. This is a very squishy Lou, and already has lost almost all of her health here, about 3/4 to be exact, but a lot of the engagement tools besides the Hemoplague have been burnt, and it's just not going to be enough for XT Nation to feel comfortable about contesting for that Dragon.
Yeah, their waves aren't in position. I think there would have been an interesting argument to say, hey, maybe we actually go for this fight. A lot of ultimates were used, and not much was gained on the opposite side there. You take a look at world-class Empyreans, they're not able to secure themselves a kill. Ezreal does have to blow his flash, but a lot of members are missing out on some of their resources. Blinking health bars, small mana pools at this point. I would have actually maybe made the argument, hey, we look to try to fight for this. I think they maybe recognize that, hey, this is not Mountain Soul. We are going to just give this up. They are going to have to fight, and I'm a little bit worried that by the time Mountain Soul kind of ticks over, the game might be over. you take a look at some of the items. Eclipse already has his Merlonomicon. Speedo by that point in 5 minutes, barring a huge disaster, should have his Death Dance or his Blade of the Ruin King. I think he might be going into, and Lost in a Moment on this Aphelios could have Death Dance. He could also have his Hex Drinker if he really wants to. He can have a bunch of items, and I think by the time you get to that point, it's going to be too late for this squad. We might see a dive here as CP Freeze, level 12 on this Diana, but they also have the Rift Herald. Opposite side, looks like a re-engage coming out.
Speedo is already on the top side of the map, has teleport if he wants to be able to churn around.
Oh, no.
They put down a ward in case Speedo is making the teleport. He's right in the middle, finds the face breaker down on to a couple of members. Beautiful Glacial Prison finds one, and Eclipse goes in for the 4-man wombo combo. It's just that easy, but CP Freeze, a beautiful re-engagement with the Hemo Plague, does find a member onto the backside from Speedo, and it ends up only being a 2-for-1 trade. It is not the worst of situations here for XT Nation, but they still lose the turret. CP Freeze still has flash if he needs it. He's gonna be fine for now, but the turrets are coming, or I should say falling, in favor for world-class Empyreans.
Yeah, and you know, the Moonfall right there was actually pretty massive, right? You obviously get a bunch of shielding, you have all that damage, and we're actually seeing the double teleport here. I'll hold that. We're looking for a re-engage.
He doesn't have Hemo Plague, but he still has a ton of damage. He needs to be able to find the right targets, but Lost in a Moment, it's just re-firing, but bam! Cataclysm comes in for the dunk. Down on a Lost in a Moment. CP Freeze now reinvigorated with some more life, goes back in for another Blade Transfusion. Looks for more damage, goes find City Witty, and now they're looking to lock down Eclipse. He's got almost 500 gold for the shutdown if they can get him, but NML is providing enough shields, and Eclipse finds a moment to be able to go back in. Oh my god! Eclipse, what the are you doing to these people, man?
Oh my god. Eclipse is probably, I would hope that he doesn't have the stream open right now, but man, he is listening. He's like, who is this random Alk Battery dude flaming me and telling me that I'm not a mid laner and amateur to be looking at? He just completely runs over the enemy team right here, and XT Nation are in a world of hurt, and Eclipse keeps going.
I mean, Mink, I don't know, man. Did you just see what's
going
to happen? Eclipse is just going to be just fine. They don't really have any damage to be able to deal with this guy. Wall Growth has already come back in and supplied him with a second bar of health here, and Eclipse should just be able to walk out safely. They're still trying to force the hand. Eclipse goes back in, gets another Moonfall down. Speedo is there for the re-engagement, gets the Showmaker and the Haymaker down. It's an easy double kill, but finally they get the shutdown onto Eclipse. The raid boss has been taken down, but as I say that, we've got a 200 years raid boss right here, ladies and gentlemen. Lost in a Moment, alongside of NML, pick up double for themselves.
This is a multi-phase dungeon, and apparently they have hit the enrage timer here for the side of XT Nation. World Class Empyreans looking to break down onto the base. Just gonna do some slow Nexus takes here. City Witty did take a lot of damage, and they're pretty low, so it could be the. Oh my god! I mean, that's my champion right there. Alun's blessing be praised.
I can't.
I love Aphelios.
Oh my goodness. Lost in a Moment is having the time of his life. Eclipse bought so much time, but now he's gonna get knocked out.
Oh my god!
This is the third Wild Growth that we have seen in the span of 4 or 5 minutes, just straight back and forth fighting onto the base of XT Nation, but finally cut the reel. A top laner getting solo killed by the support. Oh my god.
This happened twice in the same game. I was just talking about it earlier that Lulu found the kill into real fill up near the blue buff when they were diving, and I was like, oh, the glitter lance, it's just so, it's actually nuts. And like you're saying, constant fighting. The fact that Eclipse just double buffs right here and is able to just run over the enemy team is just statement enough from them. So now XT Nation finally able to try and fight this. Coming out, he might die to this. Goodbye.
Bruh.
Haymaker right to the face.
Alright, Speedo said, you know what, let me get some raid boss action. I want to get some fame in the spotlight. Eclipse, meanwhile, is looking for the good old ex-Peke backdoor
But
is just
no
against
one
real
can
tough. I
stop
mean, what the hell is he gonna do? He's got nothing. He's just a support Karma. He's relegated to the top lane, but he's got nothing in the tank. Eclipse just solo kills them, and it's just that easy, folks. We're going to game 3.
10,000 gold, and from level 3, that game felt over for the side of XT. We were talking, okay, Mink looking pretty good, is able to find after a really rough, kind of ugly looking invade coming out from World Class. I was not that impressed, and I was worrying maybe we'd see a 2-0 from the series, but man, when City Witty, like we said, when City Witty gets going, this guy takes off. And specifically, again, they were able to find priority thanks to Eclipse and getting him that mid lane matchup. Finally, we get to see him kind of blossom a little bit in this one game. I'll hold that. You look like you want to say something, Rafa.
You know, I just want to be straight up honest here, Alk Battery. The way that City Witty botched his early game invade and his pathing, he had no business being involved in that game. Mink read his actions, punished accordingly. If it wasn't for Eclipse and his the rest of his team backing up City Witty, there is no way that City Witty would have had any means of coming back. Being put that far behind is like disastrous. But the fact that Eclipse is just too damn good on this Diana. And of course, there's a other series of events that occurred, but we're just going to focus on the fact that Eclipse is just an absolute monster on this Diana.
Yeah, and one of the things that we saw in game 1 was that XT Nation not fantastic at doing dives. And the game 1, they were so far ahead, didn't really matter, right? They go for dives, they kind of botch it earlier in the game, but they still have it in the bag. They still have Ophelios, still looking very strong. This time around, we saw that top dive. They invested so many members to try and kill and put down Speedo. Ends up kind of backfiring. He's able to find that solo kill, and on the opposite side, they intend on for world class Empyreans. They find that dive. They're able to get the kills on the Kaiming, get their Ophelios kind of ramped up, and like you were saying, Eclipse doing a fantastic job. I can't imagine that this champion makes it through Pigman this time around, but 5 champions for mid lane were banned this game, and having to kind of reach down into the pool, Eclipse, he comes back up for air, and he's able to be really successful with it.
Absolutely astonishing performance. I do not see a world where XT Nation leave this Diana up, or at least prepare an answer for this pick, because it is just this is the 3rd time I've seen Eclipse pilot this Diana, and it just pops off every single time. And it's not like Diana's the super meta pick, but it's a comfort pick that Eclipse just knows how to shine on, and Canadian teams just do not know how to deal with. I mean, look at the other XT Nation squad or XT Esports squad when Yumbi gets Diana. No team understands how to deal with that, and it's a similar situation here. So I'm hoping that as we get ready for Game 3, match point between both teams, that XT Nation have an answer for this Diana if it's not banning it. Otherwise, World Class Empyreans might bring it. Stay tuned, folks.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running. Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, Game 3 has arrived, and XT Nation are in the draft phase already with world-class Empyreans. Both are 1-1. It is match point. That means all bets are off. Anything goes in this final game. Doesn't matter how well a team performed in the second or the first game. What matters is now. And as the draft goes underway so far, nothing changing in the draft for either teams, Mr. Alk Battery.
Why is Grays a blue side ban? Wah.
I agree, brother.
Oriana being red side. Alright. Look, we're just repeating bans from the last game. Varus and Aphelios make through, so obviously we're gonna get through, blah, 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 make it through. Now, for world-class Empyreans, what I want to see, make sure you have a ganking jungler, make sure that your top side is able to play weak, and please, for the love of God, do not play Cassiopeia bot lane. Play something that will contest Aphelios in lane. I think Misfortune is interesting. I'm still a very big proponent. As much as I hate this champion, I think it's a trap pick into certain things and leaves you open. Misfortune is fine. Now, for the side of XT Nation, they can very easily just draft themselves a Braum, either a Braum, you think maybe even an Ornn, and suddenly this Misfortune looks a lot rougher of a pick to try to go for, especially on R1, R2.
Well, Class Empyrean City, what are you thinking about that? Lee Sin, but this early in the draft seems like a mistake. However, they're going to go with the Wukong, but we saw what happened in Game 1 when Speedo had his chance at the Monkey King. He got kind of floored and chose really questionable engages here. So hopefully Speedo has learned from his lesson in Game 1 and can clean things up in Game 3.
Yeah, and especially early on, I think it's really interesting that we see from world-class Empyreans that they're looking to just show, hey, we're going for Wukong. We want to hide our other picks. I think things like Jungle probably rise up. There it is! Game 3! There
we got the Nunu, boys! It's happening! Mink's special pick! It's happening! And world-class Empyreans were thinking about that Olaf, but they say, you know what? This is the Nunu, so that means we gotta pick up the tank shredder himself, the Troll King. And you know what? Oh, Battery, I just realized if this Trundle is locked in, that means world-class Empyreans, they're pretty much looking world-class because they've got royalty on their teams. They've got the Monkey King and the Troll King. Now, if they can get Tom Kench, they'll have all three kings, the River King on top of it. I just want to see a whole team of royalty. I don't care if it's compositionally stupid. I want to see it happen.
I mean, think about it, right? Okay, so let's get this right. So we've got Tom Kench, royalty. Then we've got to finish it off with the Avatar, Kiana. Boom. I mean, the master of all four royalties coming through. And then the Fire Nation of XT Gerb Nation. I don't care that we called it out. Look, I know. But they're going to come in. They're going to do their Fire Lord business. Do some Phoenix King impressions. And just... That would be, obviously we're going a little bit far into the draft. They are going to ban Morgana here from the side of World Class Empyreans, going to try to at least pinch the support pool. But with Karma, where we've seen her, and with Aphelios, I very much doubt that we're actually going to see Karma being, Karma going into that support role. Nautilus can pick up.
Man, no Tom Kench feels bad. Thankfully though,
it's a water thing.
Well, okay, that's fine. They got something close, but this isn't set 2 of TFT anymore. You know, we've moved past that. Well, now we have the horse rampaging towards the top lane. I would imagine this isn't something spicy like a keen mid pick. Teleport and Ignite being run with the Hecarim in the top lane should do fairly well against Speedo, who is trying to rely on that Conquer to stack it, but because he will be running that Summoner spell in line, he should have the advantage over the Monkey King. Now, what is going to be the mid lane pick? Is it going to be the Karma, or are we going to see something else? You know what? It's interchangeable. It's now, what would you, as the Aphelios expert, what would you rather have in the bottom lane?
Lulu, by far. I would always take Lulu. Karma's great and all. Love me some Karma. But Lulu is by far the better pick here. I want to actually pivot over to the side of World Class Empyreans, picking themselves up a Victor. Both CP Freeze and Eclipse have shown they do play this champion. And we've been seeing the resurgence of Victor, especially with, maybe not in this series because of how short some of these games have been. But Ghost being reintroduced, and just the power of being able to match that, I think, is really important. Mid lane pool is a little bit more supportive now, so I think Victor being allowed to scale is a lot more important. I'm very worried that this Nunu will run over the game. The biggest snowball ever makes every single one of these champions really, really sad. Misfortune, again, overutilizes her strut passive to give her movement speed, and when that's missing, she basically has no legs anymore. She's crawling at that point. And Trundle being the largest obstacle, I think, is going to be really difficult here for World Class Empyreans. You try to navigate in a team fight, trying to have Nunu peeled off of your team. They're going to have to trade front lines to try and at least get to their back line. But Hecarim, I think, makes this so interesting because he can be that frontline kind of bruiser, and all of a sudden he presses ultimate and he transcends the lines, right? And immediately goes for that back line. And Misfortune has a hard time trying to get rid of him.
You know, anytime I see Misfortune picked on the enemy team, especially early on in the draft, and then you see something like a Hecarim, something like a Trundle, any champion that has ways to access the backline or displace the Misfortune during her bullet time, I just think, oh, wait, it didn't have...
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. Delayed soundboard, my bad, ladies and gentlemen. But you get the idea, right? Like, Misfortune already has a bad enough time trying to navigate the battlefields when you've got so much disruption going on. But in this case, World Class Empyreans are going to have to rely on being the forefront of the engage, because if they're the ones having to counter the fights, then it's not so good for them, because you require more setup time to make sure the Misfortune doesn't get displaced during her ultimate timing so that she can get the full channel out. And Victor obviously will need the time to reposition as well to set up an appropriate follow-up with the Death Ray and the Chaos School.
Yeah, to be fair, right, like, you take a look at the side of XT Nation, they actually don't have a lot of ways of interacting with this Misfortune. It's really going to be hey, does Lulu get into position to polymorph? I would hope not. Does Hecarim get that ultimate off? And like you're saying, is Misfortune protected? You take a look at the opposite side. I actually really like how they're going to be playing around kind of like these massive area ultimates. Misfortune blocks off a part of the map from people walking in. You have Wukong, who goes into the backline and is able to take out, with his clone, multiple kind of circles and take out chunks of the map. We even take a look at Victor. Not only that Chaos Storm, but also the W, the gravity field, takes out parts of the map that now XT Nation cannot actually walk into. Nautilus makes it really difficult if you're around him to try to deal with him, especially because of that dredge line. So there are points of the map I'm expecting for Empyreans with this team composition. Obviously, you take a look, you're like, wow, this team fight. They have Victor, they have the Misfortune around choke points and around like these objectives like Baron, like Dragon. I'm expecting, if everything is equal, which so far, considering the early games, not going to be too fair of a fight, but World Class should be looking incredibly strong when they're utilizing terrain on the map.
Well, World Class Empyreans, the time is now to step up to the plate and see if you can close out this series, make the comeback dream come true. Whereas XT Nation, Mink is pulling out the Nunu, his pocket comfort pick, and the real Philip is now showing us a little flavor with this Hecarim top. It's not something brand new in the history of League of Legends, but it's definitely new in terms of recent picks here, and I'm just excited to see these two compositions duke it out. I can't really... I'm going to say it like this, Og Battery. I don't know how much analysis we can really do of these compositions, because if this series has told us anything, these teams do not play like how it should be on paper. Anything can happen, so it would just almost be a disservice to these teams to try and say, well, this team should win here, this team should win here. We're gonna crack open one final cold one on this last game, ladies and gentlemen, and just let these two teams do their stuff. We'll be getting ready for Game 3 on the Rift as we take a break real quick.
Thank you. 'Cause I know you're ready for this. 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 'Cause I know you're Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got two Titans from this series that have been duking it out back and forth. And their names are, it's not John Cena, by the way. It is XT Nation, World Class Empyreans, 1-1 match point. Oh, Speedo. I don't know about this one, brother.
Wait a minute.
And we even started the snowball of death, Speedo.
You didn't see
Right
it?
the win. Right. Okay. He had to start decoy level 1, which is not the most amazing spell to have in lane, especially against Hecarim, who is able to not only push the wave super aggressively, but also trade efficiently. Oh, but Mink. Oh no, Mink. Brother. Run,
Yeah,
Mink.
has been procced. Walk him down. Man, I was really excited to see get some Ooh, maybe I should mention that actually. Never mind. I was ready.
What?
Stevie Freeze is up
my-
here. Oh.
Oh my god. Wait. Shh. Okay. Be very, very quiet.
Not this again.
But we're not hunting rabbits. We're hunting monkeys.
Wait. Okay. Think about it though. Like, so Hecarim gets the early advantage. He's able to push this in, but CP Freeze was still in this whole first wave. Eclipse has to be like, where is this guy? Where the hell is Min? Like, did CP, like, he's like ready? Let me just check the in-game chat. Like, I don't see any pings. There's a missing ping.
Yeah, because it's like, my mid laner's not here, and City Witty's gonna come in for the level 2. But now, who wins this one, ladies and gentlemen? City Witty, the jig is up, and without a flash, it's first blood, and it's disaster for XTG Nation.
I mean, not just that. Look, I love that. That is beautiful. I think that we also saw something akin to that. I'll hold that as Philip is here. No flash, just had to use the TP. And there's no pillar. I should have known. I saw the W on the floor. My brain, just a little bit of a mental lapse there.
I think all of our brains, including the players, are taking a little bit of mental lapse right now. They're
taking a break.
Really, yeah, you know, it is a rough week for any scouting ground circuit player. Mink is finding City Witty in the jungle. I don't know if you can really. You can't fight a tunnel early on, and you have flash.
4 minutes, bro. We're doing this.
Oh, well, it's go time, baby. Mink didn't burn the flash, but you damn well know that you cannot contest that blue buff on your side when you don't have priority in mid lane or top lane. I feel like this is the second time we've seen from Mink, and second game being City Witty, that they just do not have a respect for where the jungler could be or what the state of the lane's in, because they're trying to contest buffs that just clearly do not belong to them.
Yeah, it is kind of weird, especially when you take a look. Like, CP Freeze really doesn't have any priority in his lane. We even take a look at this. There's no double scuttle action. I was worried that, hey, maybe this actually is super beneficial. And Freeze he's CS parity with Eclipse. This is exactly what I was talking about. I was like, how much do you actually lose from this? Yes, you have your TP down. You have Unsealed Spellbook, which should be coming online in the next few minutes. And Philip, you have the Ignite in this lane, and you're the one getting aggressed upon here. Speedo, showing us how he really feels finally on this Wukong. They're going for the contest here. Eclipse is coming down. We're seeing the spam pings. We're fighting.
Oh, and Snowball comes out, gets knocked up onto the clip. CP Freeze is going to flash over the gravity trap, and they get the bite down onto a clip. The mid laner for World Class Empyreans knocked out in the first few minutes of the game, but now the fight is turning on over its head. Speedo makes the teleport play, looks to run down the rest of XTG Nation, has the clone ready, but NML taking a lot of damage. Oh, are you ready for the 200 years to come back out? City Witty is going to get locked down by the gravity here. Slow comes out, flash over the wall. First place Snow G says, give me that a piece of that troll king pie. And CP Freeze is gonna help Gaming live. We got the spam dabs coming out from Gaming as well. What the hell is going on here?
1,400 gold, and every single game in this series has been, hey, it's 4 minutes? Cool, we're fighting. We're just going for it. Mink is here. I don't know if Speedo can overextend, but 4 for 2. I mean, that's the overall scoreline, but so many kills, 3 of them going over to Aphelios. And we take a look. I just want to look at gold right now. We're looking, Freeze missed this whole first wave. Ends up not dying on that initial counter gank coming out from City Witty, and he is now up 500 gold on his lane opponent. Eclipse absolutely botched that with the entire rest of his squad, and now world-class Empyreans going to have to try to settle for table scraps, picking up this Cloud Drake.
I'm just gonna say it to quote the words of our good friend XT. Both of his teams, they lack. No. That's not the right to copy pasta. They play for content. Even if they make the incorrect plays, they might make some questionable plays. They might botch the execution, but you know what? It's all for content, baby. Because in a world ravaged by multiple things,
And
the
snowballs.
XTG Nation looking to bring the pain down on the NML. Timing, picks up the kill
Aphelios.
there, and City Witty tries to even the odds, but it's just not enough when you've got 200 years of the design experience against your own champion. Hope that certainly T can rework your Trundle game design here, because you're going to need it against Aphelios.
I mean, why are we looking for those fights? We're looking to play counter right now. You have the Trundle. When you see Mink show up, you are going to look for that counter engage. But going into melee range versus an Aphelios who has quite perfect guns for this, Infernum and Crescendum, is just like, it's heaven sent at that point. You go into melee range and you basically quadruple the attack speed of Aphelios at that moment with those chakrams. So, really great job from Timing Yagi, but, I mean, it just feels like world-class Empyreans, we're getting a repeat. Like, Game 2 was an anomaly for them, and going right back to their ways that we saw from that Game 1 in the series.
If I'm gonna be honest, Alk Battery, every game is an anomaly in this series, because every single game either looks so different that they're just kind of blending together. Eclipse doesn't have flash, and the world's biggest snowball's coming down for the pain once again, and Ignite is enough along with the damage. Mink picks up his 3rd kill of the game. Unfortunately, it's not the Runic Echoes AP build that we've seen in other parts of the world, but we could see the Hextech Rotobell come after the Cinderhole completion.
Yeah, it is just... Oh, wait a minute. That is Lulu. Huh.
And that's a Lulu dead.
I mean, who would have thought walking up on Nautilus as Lulu? Not the best idea. And
What? Walking up on Nautilus? That's crazy.
yeah, I mean, look, it happens. Sometimes we forget. Aftershock is a hell of a drug. But, looking for something. Philip, he's trying to get the warpath, but...
Yeah, this counter pick is not working out too well. Granted, the early game was a little botched by them as Mink is trying to force this dive with Kaming. We do have Eclipse making the counter roam here, but CP Freeze is also here as well. They might be able to turn things around, or at least prevent Eclipse from picking up and cleaning up the kills here.
They're just playing in between the turret! What?
Oh my. Look at the damage that's coming out. Is Mink
Wait a
leveling?
minute.
No, okay. Snowball just does a crap ton of damage, and it's... Help me!
I don't even feel like I have a job at this point. I'm supposed to... When Rando Joe asked me to do Champions League, he said, Dimitri, I need you to do color. I was like, sure. I see... Right now, I have no job. I have nothing. I am watching the game, and I am... I don't think there's a much logical explanation other than just Nunu's insane. The Nunu snowball... It makes it really difficult. Again, early on, this was one of the things I was talking about, that Misfortune, if she's behind, feels awful. And I think that goes the same for almost every AD carry, but Nunu especially makes immobile carries like the Victor and like Misfortune really difficult to deal with. Things like Trundle mitigate that by using your pillar, by also using your subjugate so that when Nunu does try to trap you down, you're able to at least kill him. But none of these things are happening. We have a Misfortune who's barely almost level 6 at this point. Take a look at gold, 3,500. 80 carry is up almost 1,100 at this point. It is looking close to done, and we haven't crested 10 minutes.
Bro, even CP Freeze on the low econ Karma is up about 1,300 gold on Eclipse. And
Okay,
this is the
look, wait.
victory.
He's playing Karma. He's playing Karma. Look, like his build is not that expensive.
Yeah, but
he
still,
can play
like
with
the fact that
cheats.
listen, the fact that it's still a 1,300 gold advantage, that means he's hitting his item power spikes even earlier than before. Like, we know it's a really cheap build, but he's going to come online so fast that Eclipse is not going to even have time to finish his first item. He's only upgraded his Hextech core, so he is just severely far behind in being able to compete. So I just imagine CP Freeze empowering Kaming, or even Mink, because Mink is so far ahead in tank stats as well. This is the base damage is just undealable with right now. And I know that's not a freaking word, ladies and gentlemen, as Real Philip, man, just leave Eclipse alone. We understand that he bullied you guys with the Diana game 2, but you don't have to do him like that. He gets the flash out. He has the ghost as well. He should be able to make his escape. CP Freeze cannot get it and can't even manage to steal the blue buff as well. Real Philip trying to run him down one last time, but Speedo and City Witty are there for the defensive play. Eclipse still trying to run the hell away, but now Mink is on the chase. Speedo has the blast cone to be able to get out to safety, but Mink is there. Can he force the engage? Has the absolute zero, but he's getting engaged upon right now with the Cyclone. A lot of damage is coming out between, but look at the first damage is there, but NML makes the rotation upwards, might be able to save world-class Empyreans, but I take that back. First place Snow G is there, but Wild Growth gets the AoE knockup, forces the flash out of NML, and Eclipse once again has no damage in the tank, has no mana. Real Philip is looking for an engage under the tower. He needs the devastating onslaught of justice. He needs to run him down, and out battery, just save me from the nothing I'm becoming from this game.
Oh my god, they're gonna go for the dive too. This is the worst part. Here we go.
CP Freeze manages to not find the snipe. It's actually first place Snow G. It's game 1 all over again. It's game 2 all over again. We're just back and forth fighting. What the hell is objectives at this point? The real objective is who can come out on top in the extended fight. Mink is f***ing back already. The fighting has gone for so long. Please.
The best part about that, I don't know what's better. Lulu finding more solo kills, or finding more kills for herself, or the fact that Eclipse lived through that entire passage of play. He ran all the way through mid. He did, the clown music going up through the river, or going through Tribrush. He walks under turret. I think World Class Elite, XD Nation, they kind of get a little bit confused. They're like, are we going for the dive? Okay, well, CP Freeze is tanking turret. Oh, wait. I can't go for the dive. Rovex has hit me with a Nautilus hook. Can't really move. They wasted a lot of time there. Thankfully, they are so far ahead that it does not matter. But I don't even think Philip can... I'd be interested to see if Akram can kill Eclipse. Eclipse doesn't have exhaust at this point, so more than likely that is the case. But you have given some time for this team to at least stop messing around. And like you're saying, those fights were staying so long that Mink is able to not only respawn, but Wukong's able to respawn. He's able to TP back in and almost die again. So here we go, looking for another fight, but just going to be kind of dissuaded. Look for the Moonlight Vigil.
You know what?
I could have
There's a lot of ultimates being traded, or actually, there was Depth Charge, there was Moonlight Vigil, as you said, but it doesn't really result in much. Bullet Time is just trying to clear the wave. As Mink says, it's go time, baby. But Real Philip gets the devastating the onslaught of shadows.
Oh my god, what?
Doesn't really work out in the best interest. Meanwhile, what happened on the top side? Did CP Freeze solo kill Speedo as he made a dive attempt? I think that's what happened, because he was pressuring CP Freeze under the turret, but now I see a dead monkey, so I don't know else what to make or reason of the situation that's happening, and the fighting just continues on and on and on and on, and Mink is just locked under the tower floors with teams like 200 years. Speaking of 200 years, we got Kaming on the clear once again, flashing forward, gets the double kill.
Oh my god!
What the
He's alive! And Hecarim, he does the victory drive-by. He says, hey, Hey, boys and girls, he does a little pageant wave, and he says goodbye. Gaming, kind of walking up. He does have his turret set down, so the Infernum doing a lot of damage. Speedo looking for something, doesn't have the ultimate. Philip is back, and say goodbye.
Of battery.
Look
We are
at that
in the
AoE
ride
damage.
forever and ever. It is not even 15 minutes in. We have 31 kills across the entire game. That is basically 2 kills a minute. But in the end, it's a resulting 7,000 gold lead for the side of XT Nation. And you know what? I just want to point something out. We have 8k gold for Kami. We have 7k gold for Mink. And we have 6k, or no, CP Freeze and 6k gold for Mink. But poor Hecarim, poor the real Philip, is the poorest member on his team. Almost the poorest member in the game. Because even his support first place Snow G is richer than him. And this is the support versus the top laner. So as someone who's trying to rush Trinity Force, it feels really bad.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going potentially for another fight here as just Mink fishing for it. City Witty's here on the backside. Wait for real Philip. He's not quite in range. Eclipse ready to set up level 10 here.
Gravity Trap comes down, stuns Mink for just a little bit, but City Witty still getting rained down upon by Kaming and first place Snow G. The Troll King will get run down. Real Phil meanwhile has diversed enough attention, and the burst damage from TP Free. Holy
Oh my
cow!
god.
They live! They f***ing live!
And
I don't
there we go.
care.
There's the ace. We're 16 minutes in. Please.
Oh my
Look,
god.
I know a lot of teams in amateur, they're more than willing to throw out a couple of FFs if the game goes on. This is best of 3 and we are in the last game, so I think they're a little bit more hesitant, but world-class Empyreans, they are absolutely out of this game. They've tapped out their 9,000 gold, it's going to be 10,000 now, because not only are they going to get themselves a Mountain Drake, they're also going to be able to take 2 turrets in the meantime. Never mind, I'm going to scratch that. It's just going to be 1, because they're not actually going to crash in the mid lane. But, I mean, for all intents and purposes, they've tapped out. They're done with this game. They can't actually fight back. You take a look. CS numbers, you damn.
Not like
Goodbye,
this.
don't worry, I got this for you. He's going to hit the crescendo. He's going to make sure that he also has his Severum just completely ripping apart Speedo. And Runon's Infinity Edge here for Aphelios just completely takes down the world-class elite top laner, and I'm
gonna say it off battery, and you know I'm already gonna chug my way into this because
there's a solo
world-class Empyreans are getting GERVed, baby. They're getting GERVed right now, and I can't. What else can I say? You cannot.
It's the GERV diff.
It's the GERV diff. Another chug in the chat. So.
I mean, there's not much to say, right? I mean, other than maybe Philip potentially dying to Eclipse, this is a really long bait. No. Okay, if this happens again, Speedo gets run down. There's the Whimsy giving him so much attack speed. Speedo, welcome back to being dead. You can enjoy your gray screen for the next 45 seconds as the Eclipse walks away, flash out of hand, and now 3 members here. You can take this one, buddy.
What else is there to take? Kaming in first place Snow G, you know what, they were limit testing, but they overstayed their welcome. Don't tell me he actually gets the kill. Oh my god. First place Snow G says, you know what, in a 1v3 I will still take down Lost in a moment. Absolute Zero gonna go for the full channel, and BAM, baby! Mink is very proud of being able to pop the full Absolute Zero blast on NML, fully styling. XT was not lying when he said that this team plays for content, because this is by far the... I don't even know how we can describe this justly, but it's
Look, the game is
definitely entertaining, man.
I'm spilled water everywhere. At this point, if I get DC'd, it happens. This is absolutely nuts coming out from the side of XT. They are, you know, every single time when I ask XT, like you're saying, when they play, game 2s are always a kind of a clown fiesta. Their game 1s look really, really tight. Eclipse, don't shop in the base. I don't think CP. All right, he just auto-attacked him.
All right, well, CP freeze. He has the mantra, and he gets the resolve down. So that means he's gonna get some health back. He's gonna be in a 1v3, but he dodges out on the dredge line, and that means there's not really engagement coming out from NML and the rest of World Class Empyreans. The Kaming is here, ready to put down the Infernum. But he flashes forward. He's got the flamethrower. Where's the Simpsons meme where you need it? Because I think it's very fitting right now. Off battery. It's another triple in the bag for Kaming, and my God, World Class Empyrean. I respect the stamina, the endurance, to will the fight to live on, but brother, you are 12,000 gold down. Throw in the towel, man. Have mercy so that you can still go back to your families in one piece.
You know, I think an important one is an important saying right now is know when to keep and know when to fold them. And while it is 13,000 gold, and it is 34-12 at a 20-minute mark, and it is 4-1. All this being said, no, don't do this to Speedo. No,
I mean,
right.
The real Philip wants revenge. He wanted to be able to be set up for success early on in the game. It didn't happen, but it's okay, because, you know, Kaming is here, picks up his 14th kill of the game. A surrender vote failed, by the way, for World Class Empyreans. It was 3-2.
Right. Not everyone's on the same page with going for the surrender.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not on the same page for the entire series. So, you know what? Some people are ready to throw in the towel. The other two people are ready to believe in the heart of the cards. They do have some somewhat late game scaling on their side, but
really
the Eclipse has got to get there. First of all, oh my God! Here comes the cavalry for real. Real Phillips just rampages on in and gets the onslaught down. It's just too damn much for World Class Empyreans, and City Witty has left the game. He's like, I'm done with this. We didn't get the surrender vote. It's over. I would definitely check in with the team on this one, because it seems that there is a mental breakdown between team members. This is just really, really unfortunate to see from this team.
On one hand, it's really funny. City leaving, probably not fantastic. I will also say probably want to get a checkup on the game after, where this team is at after this.
Mm-hmm.
This is, again, at this point, this game is about as over. We are just kind of talking over dead corpses at this point. 16,000 gold lead, 21 minutes. This is typically the point in the game.
Bro, he's totally
I mean, it's Nunu.
I mean,
he's 3 levels over the enemy jungler. What do you do?
Dude, I honestly didn't think that Nunu could just solo a Baron. I thought that well, you know what? He does have Spirit Visage, so he's got a lot of healing.
Look at this! Why does Freeze get to do this?
You know what? People said that Karma was a bad champion. I don't know who they were, because this is definitely not balanced, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, City Witty is back, boys. You know what?
He's back.
Sometimes, what happens when things get really frustrating, you need a moment to recover. You need a moment to breathe. City Witty is going to come back.
In the bush, and he clipped.
Well, bro. I mean, Mink's got eyes all over the map. He's going to be able to find them wherever they are attempting to hide. Oh, hey, the quits are coming out. It looks like the surrender votes will finally officially coming in.
Yeah, there it is.
And, well, yeah. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I think you had the money right on and you had your money right where your mouth was with hey, we're just gonna, every game is different, and we cannot come in with any kind of expectations, because XT Nation and World Class Empyreans they do whatever they want. They're free spirited, and man, to actually break that down. That bot lane just took over, and as soon as Mink put City Witty into the dirt early on in the game was over. We actually saw that Mink was pretty far behind, right? The Trundle was invading, got himself a little bit of a lead. City Witty, again, asserting himself in the early game, but right after that, it is just all downhill. It is all negative here for the side of World Class Elite.
We said it once on the cast, but we'll say it once again. World Class Empyreans, they fought hard in the second game, and they made it somewhat hard and difficult in the first game, but in game 3, they got gerbed, ladies and gentlemen. Just straight up GURBED. Yeah. I don't know how else to put it. This, if we wanted to break it down, we just plainly have to say that when you get that far behind against the bot lane, you have to play the map in a better way to allow Eclipse to scale into the game. But they didn't, because this team, World Class Empyreans, they love to fight. They want to gain leads through fighting. We saw how clear that was in the second game, and they just didn't respect the champions and the comfort picks that was coming out from XT Nation. They didn't know how to play properly into the Nunu, or the fact that they had an Aphelios Lulu on their side as well. And with mixed execution, if you're going to take those fights, you better be ready to say, hey, if you're taking the skill check, if you don't come out on top, you're going to have to pay the consequences, and that's just get even further and further behind. And I mean,
I think that the clearest way to look at this game was CP Freeze started top lane. They failed the gank onto Speedo, right? And Eclipse was not able to properly punish Karma missing the first wave and a half. As soon as that happens, in my mind, I think that is a failure of the team to properly capitalize. And the fact that there was not a double scuttle movement from Citywitty really hurts me. Now, you can say, hey, Eclipse, he doesn't have great wave clear early on. It was only about a wave and a half. You can maybe mitigate that. But the fact that he was by scuttle spawn, even in CS, and we're not seeing, Citywitty after that gank immediately, come with Victor to roam down in the bot lane, just felt like there's a lot of disconnect from this team. People wanting to do different things, and that was one of the things that I had said in game 1 was their downfall. Speedo and Eclipse not being on the same page, and the rest of this team really not, kind of getting caught up, in the fighting. So, obviously, great job for XT Nation. I think that this is the XT Esports roster that is looking the most competitive out of the two, and is definitely making waves, making some splashes in amateur right now. But that game, to set expectations fairly, I wasn't expecting too much of a cerebral game coming out from these guys. It was about what I expected.
Yeah, it's there's not much else that we can say, right? Because it's I don't know. I think to best sum it up, XT Nation won the skill checks. They rolled the dice multiple times, and they came out on top. And sometimes, if you're gonna live that lifestyle, you better be ready for the consequences. World Class Empyreans now have to face those consequences in the end. I do sincerely hope that, even though we did have a lot of fun kind of being in wonder of what the hell was going on the Rift, I really hope that World Class Empyreans don't take this loss too hardly, that they need to really find that team identity and be able to lock the synergy down. But
live by the GURB, die by the GURB.
Yeah, live by the GURB, die by the GURB, because XT Nation weren't exactly the cleanest team either. It wasn't a 2-0 sweep. They had to fight for their way to get to game 3. So, but, for us here on the broadcast, that's really about it. But as, any closing... What's up?
Think we should send them out with a little bit of a tune?
You know what? In celebration of XT Nations, I would like to dedicate a little groove, which we call the GURB groove. So we need our shades on real quick to really get in the mood here.
Come on, I've activated the pool.
We're gonna get a little sound check here. Just want to. Oh wait, why is this happening again? It's the stupid delay thing. I swear to goodness.
While we're waiting, I want everybody to know that at the same time, we've also got another XT Sports game, XT versus Supernova. They are in game 3 over on Risen 2, or is it Risen Esports 2? Risen_Esports 2. So I want to thank you guys for joining myself, Rafa, and Rando Joe on the production side tonight. We want to thank, obviously, the teams for coming out, and Rafa, are you ready to kind of wow the team?
I don't know why it does this. It just like, you know what?
All right, Rafa, don't worry, I got this. I'll
You got this. You know what?
Yeah, yeah.
Joe, hit the beat, brother. We'll just send it out in a different way. All right. Here we go. I'm faking.
All right, guys, have a good night. Go check out the SN game versus XT Esports. It's got my boy K-Tads. It's got Go Farino. Go check it out. Everyone, you have a great night. Thank you, guys. Oh, it's got Cole. Let's go. All right, that's even bigger. All right, boys.
Groove, baby.
Ladies, gentlemen, good night.